Hi and good evening. Thank you for watching. I'm Shakil 5858. I am Amibuddham. Now the latest headlines from world channels and news agencies.
Purported leak.
Israel agrees to a Gaza ceasefire and hostage release with Hamas. Benjamin Netanyahu will now convene his security cabinet to approve the deal. Another anti-Semitic attack in Sydney's east, this time on the former home of a senior Jewish community leader. Tributes pour in for groundbreaking filmmaker David Lynch, who's died at the age of 78. And defending champion Aryna Sabalenka survives a tough test to move into the fourth round of the Australian Open. Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm Meredith Sheehan.
Tonight, several breaking stories as we come on the air. The race to contain the fires in California, and tonight our team in a boat right off the Pacific Coast Highway, what's been wiped away, and you'll see it. Also breaking tonight, the deal to get the hostages, the infighting now in Israel. This vote has been moved. And the SpaceX launch just moments ago reports tonight, did they lose the main spacecraft? First tonight, firefighters in California, the rare window, a break from the winds before the next system moves in. The fires still burning tonight, and now the landslide today destroying a home. And the inspiring moment, Bruce Willis made a rare public appearance to thank first responders. Tonight, the deal to get the hostages out. Is it already at risk? The U.S. insisting the fragile ceasefire will take effect Sunday between Israel and Hamas. But tonight, the infighting among Israeli lawmakers, the vote that did not happen today. Here in the U.S. tonight, a Southwest pilot arrested, pulled out of the cockpit, charged with DUI, witnesses describing what they saw. President-elect Donald Trump's pick to oversee the economy, billionaire Scott Bessent, pressed by senators what he says he's open to. And tonight, the list growing of tech billionaires and their prominent seats at the inauguration. The car stolen, a 4-year-old girl in the backseat, the frantic search to find her. And there is late word coming in on this tonight. This evening, Rudy Giuliani reaching a settlement moments before he was supposed to testify. What he'll have to give those Georgia elections workers now and what he keeps. Those two spectacular launches today, SpaceX and Blue Origin, a short time ago, the tower catching the booster returning to Earth. But have they lost the main rocket tonight? The new report this evening on cancer in the U.S., what they're now seeing in women and young people, what you need to know. Tonight we remember a famous filmmaker, Blue Velvet to Mulholland Drive and the TV hit Twin Peaks. And another loss tonight, the tributes to Mr. Baseball. Just a bit outside. Some of his funniest moments, including on Johnny Carson.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Tonight, the potential setback in the announced ceasefire deal in Gaza as new strikes there leave dozens dead. Israel launching new attacks on Gaza and delaying a key cabinet vote to ratify the ceasefire, accusing Hamas of provoking a last-minute crisis. The militant group saying it is still committed to the deal to end 15 months of fighting and to release dozens of hostages, including Americans. Our Richard Engel is in Jerusalem. Also tonight, the new concerns in California's fire zone, mud and debris slides. One home that survived the flames split in half, and the new lawsuits. Who's accountable for these deadly blazes? The brutal cold blast we're tracking set to impact more than 300 million Americans. The major news on TikTok, days before the U.S. is set to ban the Chinese-owned app. The sudden pause by the Biden administration, what it means for users. Just in, Elon Musk's SpaceX losing its multi-billion-dollar startup Starship after its unmanned launch. The new round of confirmation hearings for President-elect Trump's cabinet picks, the warning from his choice for Treasury Secretary, and the tributes pouring in for the beloved Hall of Fame baseball announcer and actor, Bob Uecker.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
A last-minute snag in the Israel-Hamas ceasefire deal. The pressure tonight on Prime Minister Netanyahu.
What will happen if the deal falls apart at this stage?
I think we will see a lot of angry people in the streets.
More young women are being diagnosed with cancer. Our Dr. LaPook is here with what you need to know. In tonight's Eye on America, as Southern California looks to rebuild a technique for fireproofing homes.
We've experienced something that I never thought you'd experience, and I'm ready for it to happen again.
It's kind of an unbelievable thing.
And our rare access on the inauguration platform. How will security be different? The CBS Evening News starts now. Good evening.
So yesterday was an ugly day in D.C. And if there was ever a Beauty and the Beast moment in the halls of Congress, Pam Bondi's confirmation hearing was it. Bondi, hold on, stop it. Bondi, Donald Trump's nominee for AG, found herself facing the swamp's resident bug-eyed monster. Have a look if you dare.
Are you aware of any factual basis to investigate Liz Cheney? Yes or no?
Senator, that's a hypothetical, and I'm not going to answer that.
Also
worried about Liz Cheney, Senator.
The president has
you know what we should be worried about?
Ms. Bondi, please answer my questions.
The crime rate in California right now is through the roof. Senator, what I can tell you is I will never play politics. You're trying to engage me in a gotcha. I won't do it. I won't play politics with any ongoing investigation.
So let me ask you another.
Like you did leaking your colleague Devin Nunes's memo. I'm not going to mislead this body nor you. You were censured by Congress, Senator, for comments just like this that are so reckless.
Well, that was useful. But Adam's got a face only a mother could love. Norman Bates' mother. Because not only is this guy a lying bozo, he's also weird looking. But aren't they all? The Dems are the homeliest bunch since Kiss decided to take off their makeup.
On this Thursday night, Mark Carney launches into the Liberal leadership race. Why he's in it and who he's already going after.
But lifelong politicians rely on slogans and slander and sound bites.
As the Liberal caucus starts picking sides. Deepening fears about the damage U.S. tariffs could do.
We'll fight like hell to protect our people.
As the Prime Minister unveils his new weapon to take them on. A warning about the ultra-wealthy, how U.S. President Joe Biden says tech titans are threatening democracy. Plus, he was groundbreaking, bold, and embraced the bizarre. Remembering influential and innovative movie and TV director David Lynch.
Show on France 24 and France24.com. Hello, welcome to Daybreak here on France 24. I'm Mikael Tade. Coming up, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's cabinet gears up to vote on a Gaza ceasefire and hostage deal proposal. Cracks in the government, though, on full display as hardline National Security Minister Ismail Ben-Gvir vows to resign if the truce is ratified. Optimism from US officials, though, that the deal will take effect on Sunday. French President Emmanuel Macron to hold talks with Lebanon's newly elected Prime Minister Joseph Aoun. Macron hoping to offer his support to the new leader who's facing the daunting task of leading the country after a devastating Israel-Hezbollah war and years of economic crisis. Members of France's Socialist Party joined the negotiating table with Prime Minister François Bayrou after he agreed to reopen talks over the unpopular pension reform in 2023. It comes after Bayrou survived a no-confidence vote in Parliament. us. Let's begin in Israel, where
hello, this is Sky News at 5 a.m. here in the UK. Thanks a lot for joining us. These are your latest headlines. How far would Britain go to protect Ukraine? The Prime Minister visiting the embattled country gives his clearest answer yet.
Would you be prepared to deploy troops for peacekeeping? Would you agree to do that in principle?
I've been discussing this with a number of allies, including, of course, President Macron, including President Zelensky here today. And we will play our full part.
During his visit, a drone is shot down over the presidential palace, a warning of the security risk of Russia's continuing war. Digging in their heels over the ceasefire deal, the opposition inside Israel, and the minister threatening to quit.
They're trying to shut us up and act like they're doing something, when in reality, they're not doing very much.
The victims of grooming gangs hitting out at the government after it announces support for more local inquiries, but no national investigation. The condemnation of so-called corridor care in the NHS as we speak to nurses who say it's now a year-round problem. And the latest step forward for Elon Musk's Starship rocket as the launch is followed by a successful capture of the booster rocket. Hello and a very good morning to you. Thanks for joining us here on You.
This is DW News, and these are our top stories. Israeli sources say major sticking points to agreeing a ceasefire with Hamas in Gaza have been overcome, but the Israeli cabinet has not yet approved the deal. Reports from Israel say a vote on the deal will take place on Friday. National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir has threatened to resign if the deal is accepted. Israel has carried out more airstrikes in Gaza, killing dozens of Palestinians and wounding hundreds more. Officials there say more than 46,000 people have been killed since the start of the war 15 months ago. If the ceasefire deal goes into force, it is likely to enable a surge of humanitarian aid into the territory. American filmmaker David Lynch has died at the age of 78. Known for his dark and surreal artistic vision, he scored Best Director Oscar nominations for Blue Velvet, The Elephant Man, and Mulholland Drive. He was also behind the groundbreaking TV series Twin Peaks. This is DW News from Berlin. You'll find much more on our website at dw.com.
Very good evening to you from the newsroom. Well, leading the news tonight, following weeks of pressure, the Home Secretary has announced a major shift in tackling grooming gangs. Earlier today, Yvette Cooper ordered a nationwide review of evidence with 5 government-backed local inquiries and a rapid 3-month audit. However, that review stopped short of a national inquiry, prompting criticism from the Tories and some Labour MPs. Even Elon Musk has weighed in, calling it a step in the right direction, and says the results will speak for themselves. Cooper promised there will be a clear timetable for action and vowed that shameful progress so far will change.
Those national inquiries, reports, and hundreds of recommendations, far too little action has been taken, and shamefully little progress has been made. The most important task should be to increase police investigations into these horrific crimes and get abusers behind bars. We will introduce stronger sentences for child grooming, making it an aggravating factor to organised abuse and exploitation. And I can announce new action today to help victims get more investigations and prosecutions underway.
A teenager has been found guilty of murdering 15-year-old Eliane Andam during a row over a teddy bear in Croydon. Hassan Sentamu stabbed the aspiring lawyer in the neck after a water-splashing prank the day before. The court heard the 18-year-old had a history of violence and brought the knife to that scene. Eliane's family hugged as the jury convicted him of murder. He's set to be sentenced in March. Sir Keir Starmer has said that the UK will play its part in guaranteeing Ukraine's security after a peace deal. That's as he made his first visit to Kyiv as Prime Minister today. That trip came as Russian drones were targeting the city, a reminder of the daily threats Ukrainians still face. The UK has also unveiled a £4.5 billion military aid package, including cutting-edge air defence systems and training for Ukrainian cadets. Sir Keir also called for peace through strength and warned that weakness could invite more war and embolden aggressors worldwide. And David Lynch, the Oscar-nominated director of films including Blue Velvet and co-creator, of course, of the cult drama series Twin Peaks, has sadly died today at the age of 78. The surrealist filmmaking giant was best known for his blend of unsettling visuals and unique storytelling style. His family announced his death in a Facebook post earlier, writing, "There's now a big hole in the world now that he's no longer with us." David Lynch, remembered as one of the greatest directors, has died today at the age of 78. That's the news on GB News. Plenty more still to come. Do stay with us here on GB News. It's time for headlines.
For the very latest GB News. Everyone, welcome to Headliners, your first look at Friday's newspapers with three funny people. We're going to start straight away with a couple of front pages. The Daily Mail, Labour blasted over toothless grooming probes. The Guardian, no Israel vote on deal until Hamas agrees to all terms. And The Sun, lock him up again. More front page in a second, but first, Kerry, what do you make of the Daily Mail there? The grooming...
This is Asia Now.
It's 12 p.m. in Singapore and Hong Kong, 9:30 in New Delhi, and 11 o'clock in Jakarta. I'm Rani Samtani. At this hour, another no-show by South Korea's detained President Yoon Suk-yeol, the leader refusing to appear for questioning again after spending a second night at Seoul Detention Center. The truce in Gaza hangs in the balance. Israel delays a crucial vote to ratify its ceasefire agreement with Hamas as last-minute challenges emerge. And Indonesia's Mount Ibu on its highest threat alert after erupting, spewing thick gray ash into the sky. Thousands, though, refusing to leave despite evacuation orders.
Russian President Vladimir Putin held discussion with his counterpart Central African Republic President Faustin Archange Touadéra in Moscow on Thursday, focusing on enhancing security collaboration between their nations. I would like to note our cooperation in the area of security. We intend to act in this direction as we have done so far. We will discuss these prospects with you in a broad format and then during our face-to-face meeting. President Touadéra sought to further bolster their security collaboration. In the security field, considerable progress has been made in restoring peace and security on the entire territory. Today, the army trained by the Russian instructors is a powerful force that pursues and destroys terrorists and other criminals on the territory of the Central African Republic. We want to continue working to strengthen security inside the country on the Central African borders, where threats often come from, in collaboration with Russian specialists who have proven themselves to be true war professionals and brave warriors. Additionally, Touadéra requested increased shipment of advanced military equipment. To energize and accelerate the results of this cooperation, several areas of improvement have been identified, including the intensification of continuous training and practice of Central African armed forces, strengthening the capabilities of the defense and security forces through the delivery of advanced military equipment. Moscow, through Wagner, continues to expand its military ties in Africa.
Ethiopia and Somalia buried their year-long hatchet caused by Addis Ababa's quest for sea access from Somaliland. The African Union has called the restoration of ties an important milestone. The bloc, which is headquartered in Ethiopia's capital, walked a tightrope throughout the dispute, careful not to criticize its hosts while also facing Somali pressure to intervene. The revival of ties followed Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud's trip to Addis Ababa on the weekend. Last December, following Turkey's mediation, the leaders of Ethiopia and Somalia pledged to resolve the dispute and to negotiate a potential deal granting landlocked Ethiopia access to the sea. The development means Ethiopian troops will stay in Somalia as part of an African Union peacekeeping mission. Somalia had initially threatened to replace them with Egyptian soldiers. Cairo and Addis Ababa have a long-running dispute stemming from a mega dam Ethiopia built on the River Nile. The presence of Egyptian troops too close to Ethiopia prompted concern for the long-term security of the Horn of Africa region.
Israel's military was seen operating in the Gaza Strip on Thursday as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said a last-minute dispute with Hamas was holding up approval for a long-awaited ceasefire that would pause the fighting in Gaza Strip and release dozens of hostages. Netanyahu said earlier in the day that a last-minute dispute with Hamas was holding up Israeli approval for a long-awaited ceasefire. Israeli airstrikes, meanwhile, killed at least 72 people in the war-ravaged territory. The statement from Netanyahu's office signaled complications from the deal shortly after the US President Joe Biden and key mediator Qatar announced it was complete. The Israeli cabinet was expected to vote on the deal Thursday, but Netanyahu's office said that officials won't meet until Hamas backs down, accusing the militant group of reneging on part of the agreement in an attempt to gain further concessions without saying which parts. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Wednesday laid out key priorities for 2025 at the UN General Assembly plenary meeting, calling for collective action to tackle intertwined and unprecedented challenges amid the turmoil of the world. In a speech, Guterres highlighted runaway conflicts, rampant inequalities, the raging climate crisis, and out-of-control technology as four major challenges the world is facing, as well as key priorities for this year. The UN chief stressed that from the Gaza Strip, Ukraine, Sudan to Yemen, conflicts are multiplying, becoming messier and deadlier, and deepening geopolitical divisions and mistrust are adding fuel to fire, with the nuclear threats at its highest in decades. He said the technology revolution offers unprecedented opportunities, but also demands careful stewardship, urging the General Assembly to establish the Independent International Scientific Panel on Artificial Intelligence and initiate the process for the global dialogue on AI governance this year.
Thank you for sparing your precious time. This is Amir Shakil. Have a good life. Bye-bye.